everybody, I hope you're having a great day. I'm back with one of my Wednesday tutorials, and today it's going to be a little bit different. Instead of a card tutorial or some other actual project tutorial, I'm going to talk about some of the basics because I kind of take for granted that people know all the basics of making cards and paper crafting, and beginners really don't. And I wanted to kind of break it down for you in the next few videos. So first, hi, my name is Wendy, and I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator and a retired art teacher. But I always say, once an art teacher, always an art teacher. I'm here to help you and sometimes your kids get crafty, get creative, and bring out your inner artist. So, in order to do that and to learn to use these great Stampin' Up! Products to make these beautiful cards and projects, you gotta know the basics. So let's start with that today. I'm gonna flip my camera and we're gonna talk about card bases, sizes for your basic cards, and here we go. All right, so myself and my other crafty friends that have been doing Stampin' Up! For a while, we normally make cards, usually, there are other sizes, we usually make cards that are folded, they are 4 1/4, and let me flip this real quick. There we go. By 5 1/2. Okay? That's what this is. So, opened up, this is 11, which works out perfect with cardstock sizes, by 4 1/4. Okay? That's just one way to fold it. You could fold it this way, and we'll talk about that in a second. But this is your basic card size that most Stampin' Up! Demonstrators teach. Okay? Now, the first thing we need to talk about is a card base. Now, most of my card bases, I usually use a thick white cardstock. This one I happen to use colored gray. You can do that, totally do that. But most of my cards, I use a white base. So I'm going to cut a base for you. This is just a piece of old cheap cardstock, not Stampin' Up! I just grabbed it for this. But I'm going to make a base out of it. And I'm going to make it not this way. As you can see, this takes half of this piece of paper. Okay, I'm going to make it open like a book, this way. Your card can go either way. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this in my trimmer. Let me move this up a little bit so you can see a little bit more. Okay, and I'm going to we're going to cut this in half. This is an 11-inch, 8.5 by 11 piece, so half would be 5 1/2. So that's where we cut in half at the 5 1/2 mark. Okay, put that one away. And now to make a card base out of this half, I've got to score it so it'll fold in half. Well, half of 8 1/2 is 4 1/4. So 4 1/4, little score. Stampin' Up! Has blades on their trimmer, cutting blade, scoring blade. Ask me how many times I've gotten those confused and I've cut instead of scored. Yeah, not fun. Okay, so now we have our card base. Cut it, fold it in half, give it a little crease. We have a card base. Now, a lot of times we make what we call a card front and then put it on a base later. I do that a lot. I create a lot of bases and then I have an hour on a Sunday afternoon where I just put all my bases, all my cards onto bases, if that makes sense. Okay, so there's our base. Now let's say that I wanted this, and this is just an old retired piece. I don't even know what the color is anymore. It's a piece of cardstock. I'm going to make a card front for it. I'm not going to put it on my base yet, but I'm going to work on my card front. My card front needs to be the same size as this card front. Okay, this is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So I need to make my card front 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. There's 5 1/2. There's 4 1/4. Okay, so there is my card front that I'm going to decorate, and then I'll glue it to the front of my card base. Make sense? Okay, so put that away. Now let's say I want to have a layer. So on this card, my base is a gray, and then I have a layer of black. Okay, how do you know how to get it proportional so that it looks right? Okay, Basically, you go down 1/4 of an inch. And I have this little cheat sheet I have on my desk at all times. But basically, you simply go down 1/4 of an inch. If you want a little less sticking out of your color, you can go down 1/8 of an inch. So I'm going to go down 1/4 of an inch from my card front. So it was 4 1/4. So I'm going to go to 4, and it's 5 1/2. So I'm going to go to 5 1/4. So I'm going to take this color and go to 5 1/4, which is 1/4 inch smaller than my card front, by 4. And that gives me a nice layer on my card front. 1/4 of an inch. Okay, now let's say I want another layer, okay? Like on this card, the 3rd layer is the layer with that I stamped all the beer on, okay? Yes, I could go down 1/4 again. So it would be down to 5 by 3 3/4. You can keep going and going and going. All the way down, you can have it all, yeah. Okay, just go down by 1/4. But I'm gonna mix things up and go down by 1/8. So the last layer that I just cut was 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm going to go down just 1/8. So I'm going to go down to 3 7/8. No, that's not right. Yes, 3 7/8 is down 1/8 from this piece. And this piece was 5 1/4, so I'm going to go 5 1/8. And so now I have a smaller layer that just a little bit of the paper peeps out. Show it to you better. Oops, come on. There. Okay, see how that works? I just wanted a little bit. So that's basically how, and then when I finish decorating and stamping and doing everything I wanted to on this card front, then I glue it onto my card base. And that way you don't use as much colored cardstock, which tends to be a little more expensive, okay? The white and thick off-white cardstock is cheaper. You get more in a pack. So that's how it works. So beginners, your card bases are either, I gotta think, either 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, and then score in the middle at 4 1/4. Or if you're gonna do a long skinny one, it's 4 1/4, score at 5 1/2. Just remember those two. 4 1/4, 5 1/2. Okay? And then when you want to make your layers, go down by 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch. Okay? I hope that was helpful to you. Have a great rest of your day. See you later.